All right, let's dive right in. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on MahaRERA. Now, if you've ever thought about buying a home in Maharashtra, which is one of India's biggest real estate markets, then you absolutely need to know what this is all about. This is your guide to the rules that protect you. You know that feeling? That little knot in your stomach when you're about to make the biggest investment of your life? The fear that your dream home could somehow turn into an absolute nightmare? Well, you are definitely not alone. For a long, long time, that was a very real and very common fear. You see, before 2017, the real estate sector was kind of like the Wild West. Projects getting delayed for years, that was normal. Shady deals where you had no idea what was going on, all the time. And if you had a problem, good luck. There was no real system in place to help you. You were pretty much on your own. And then, everything changed. The government finally stepped in with a truly game-changing law, the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act, or as everyone calls it, RERA. This was designed to clean up the entire industry and bring in some much-needed order. So, what's the big idea behind RERA? It's actually pretty simple, but it is so powerful. The goal was to set up a watchdog, in this case, MahaRERA for Maharashtra, to make sure that when you buy a property, the whole process is efficient, totally transparent, and most importantly, that your interests as the buyer are protected above all else. Now, that all sounds great in theory, right? But how does it actually work on the ground? Well, the entire MahaRERA system is built on what we can call the 5 pillars of trust. Okay, so these are the big 5. The whole foundation is built on these principles working together: transparency, accountability, financial discipline, customer centricity, and compliance. Let's break them down one by one. First up, transparency. This basically means no more secrets. Developers now have to upload all the critical documents, we're talking building plans, approvals, even updates on how many units are sold, onto the MahaRERA website for you, me, and anyone else to see. Next, accountability. And this one is huge. It holds developers to their word. For example, they can't just wake up one day and decide to change the layout or scrap an amenity they promised. To make any major change, they now need the approval of 2/3 of the home buyers. That's a massive shift in power. Pillar number 3 is financial discipline. Now, this tackles one of the biggest problems of the past. Developers used to take money from your project and use it to fund another one. And that's why so many projects got stuck. Not anymore. Now, 70% of the money you pay has to go into a special bank account, and it can only be used for the construction of your specific project. Pillar 4 is all about you. It's called customer centricity. The whole system is designed to put your interests first. And a perfect example of this is the rule on delays. If your builder doesn't give you the keys on the promised date, they are legally on the hook to pay you interest for every single month of that delay. And finally, we have compliance. This is the pillar that really holds the whole thing together. It's the everybody has to follow the rules pillar. And the biggest rule of all? A developer cannot even advertise a project, let alone sell a unit, until that project is officially registered with MahaRERA. Okay, so we've got the rules. But who are the actual players in this new system? Let's take a quick look at who's who. So there are really 3 main characters in this story. First, you've got the promoter. That's the official name for the builder. Their big job is to get the project registered. Then there's the agent, the person connecting you to the builder. They have to be registered too. And finally, there's you, the allottee, or the home buyer. And yep, you have a responsibility too, making your payments on time. All right, let's talk about one of the most important numbers in this entire system: 10%. Any guesses what this little number represents? Well, it's actually a huge layer of protection for you. Here it is. A developer cannot take more than 10% of your property's value as a down payment until you both have signed a formal, legally registered agreement for sale. This is so important because it stops them from taking a huge chunk of your cash without a rock-solid contract in place. So, you're armed with all this knowledge. How do you actually use it? Well, your single most powerful tool in this entire process is the MahaRERA digital portal. It's all online. Step 1, and listen up, this is absolutely non-negotiable. You have to verify the project. Every single legit project has a unique MahaRERA number. You punch that number into the website and you can see everything: the real completion date, the approved plans, all the legal documents. It's all there. Step 2, check your agent. It's not enough that they just have a registration number. You need to go to the project's page on the portal and make sure that specific agent is officially listed by the developer as someone who's authorized to sell that property. It's an extra layer of security. Now for step 3. And this is where it gets really powerful. The portal is a public record. You can actually look up a developer and see a list of complaints filed against them. You can see the rulings from MahaRERA. It's like doing a background check, and it gives you incredible insight into who you're dealing with. So let's just boil it down. Your pre-purchase checkup is a simple 3-step process. 1, get that MahaRERA number. 2, search for it on the portal. And 3, check everything: the project details, the agent's authorization, and the developer's complaint history. Simple as that. So when you put all of this together, what does it really mean? What's the end result? Well, it's a fundamental shift in power. It creates a completely new kind of buyer, the empowered home buyer. So think about your new rights. You now have full access to information. You have the right to get your home on time or get paid for delays. You're protected from sudden plan changes. You have a formal system to file a complaint. And this last one is a biggie. You get a 5-year warranty against structural defects after you move in. Now, it's really important to remember that this isn't a one-sided law just to punish builders. As the source material says, the whole point is to create balance. It gives responsibilities to everyone involved, the buyer, the agent, and the developer, to create a healthy and fair market for everybody. Which brings us to our final question. With all this information, all these protections, and these powerful tools right at your fingertips, has the home buyer in Maharashtra finally, truly become the king of the real estate castle? That's something to think about.